Okay, so this is a 2004 Volvo C70 and we've got to do a little job this morning, all quick like, so we thought might as well record it, throw it on YouTube, and then if anybody else is doing one of these, I've done dozens of these, if anybody else is doing one, then yeah, show you how to do it. This is the job. So this is clocks and dials, instrument cluster, instrument binnacle, whatever you want to call it. This is the right one, and the one that's in there now is the wrong one. How that got there is another story. Let's not worry about that right now. You're going to need, that is actually a bit big. I bought a set of 3, there's a smaller one, that's perfect. I just don't know where it is. You're going to need Torx, you're going to need a T20. T25, sorry, and a driver, and the only other thing you're going to need is a 10mm. So it's not complicated, it's pretty easy, and I've got a little bit of a personal challenge going on here where I'm going to try and do it in about 20 minutes. Have the benefit of having, as I said, done many of these before, so I know. Otherwise that would be optimistic. But if you're watching this video, then you will benefit from my experience. Right, get rid of that, we don't need that. A driver and a T25, 25mm torque, 3 tools. Right, let's get on with it. First thing, you're going to have to remove this. This is the heater vent, and this is much too big, but I'm going to persevere. And it just clips out like that. And you should be able to pull it with your fingers. Indeed you can. And there's a torque concealed behind there. And don't worry too much about these marks in the leather here, caused by the prying tool, because they will go away over time. And also remove the speaker cover for the tweeter. Just get your fingers under it, it just comes out easy. If you open the door, there's one on the side, and you should just be able to put your finger in there and pull it out. This is to direct, it comes from the back of the heater vent, to direct it into this area of the window, to clear the window so you can see in the mirror. Okay, anyway, quicker. And then you just pull that torque out, put it somewhere safe where it's not going to roll away. And the center console is like a little ashtray. I'm not a smoker, so it's always clean on my cars. And it turns out it's a real convenient, nice place to just throw screws if you're doing a job inside the car. And then if you open the door again, behind that heater vent on the side of the dash, there is another T25 torque screw, and you need to pull that out. Okay, that's those 3 taken. Up here in the center of the binnacle, there will be 2 at the top, one on the right hand side, one on the left. They're quite visible. They're not concealed like the others, so just stick your driver in there and rip them out. Alright, okay. Now the next thing we got to do is take these heater controls in the center. There you go, that's popped. And then there's another one along here, and I'll just pop that, and it should come out with the fingers, which it does. And you can see yourself, there's another 2 concealed torque screws behind there. The biggest challenge really is that the ratchet keeps reversing itself. Anyway, So this is the same. This is a C70, an 04. This is the same on the V70s from up to about 2000, from what are they, about 95, 96. So on the V70s, the P80, the first V70, they're the same. The P2, the second generation, this is all different. So if you've got one of them, this ain't going to help you. But this is a first generation C70, and it's the same for the first generation V70, except this speaker in the middle, this speaker cover here in the middle. You don't get these on the V70s, but you do get on some of them, but only if it's a T5R. You might get a built-in sat-nav that pops up from the top. That's different than this, so if you're doing one of them, I can't cover that in this video. But in this case, this doesn't come off, this just comes off with the dash, but there's the worst coupler in the world, the most annoying coupler in the world behind there, which I'll be wrestling with later, so that should be fine. And then the next thing you need is a glamorous assistant. So I have a glamorous assistant, Karen. If you'd like to, in fact, no, why don't we swap sides?
Recording.
Right, hello, we're back. I wasn't intending a part 2, but that's how it's turned out. We had to swap sides because it gets pretty busy over here on the passenger side, so I figured I should really enjoy myself. This one, incidentally, doesn't have a concealed torque screw behind it, but you've got to take it anyway. And then the speaker cover on the V70s, first generation V70s, they say they're slightly different. It's trying to sort of, one video covers all sort of thing, but I mean, this will give you a pretty good basic idea, and you know, you work the rest out as you go, but yeah, it's there you go. Right, this case, and then you take the torque screw out the side, and I think it's reversed itself again. Okay, there we go. Now we're cooking. Door open, it helps. That's those 3 done. Okay, so far 2 in the centre of the console, 3 concealed over there, 2 concealed over here. Now it starts to get more complicated. The dash insert, you're going to take the insert out. That's this. So there's 4, 5, 6. Nice and simple. Just whip these out. So as far as the first generation V70 is concerned, there's less electronics than the slightly later C70. So there's a bit less to do, and I think the early ones, I mean, I had a 97 Torslander, 2-litre Torslander, that didn't have airbag behind here, so that didn't have to come off, that made it easier. There wasn't a speaker on the top, that didn't have to come off, that made it easier. There wasn't tweeters on the top of here, that made it easier. Then again, I had a T5R, 99, and I had the sat nav and everything, and everything here was digital, not like these analog ones. That was complicated. But this is like a basic idea. So you just pull the insert out. Okay, behind here you'll see there's another 1, 2, 3, 4. And not those. So there's another 4 along the top of here. So you've got to pull them out. you've got to take the light and the latch from the glove compartment, glove box. So there's two more to do right in the middle. Don't drop any of these because they'll all go, any job on the dash, whatever you do, don't drop anything because they'll get lost, bounce around in the back of the dash for the rest of the time and you will never find them. I've had dashboards out, the whole thing, especially in the car plant, you'll never find it. Okay, you're done with that for a minute. Now we switch to the 10mm and there's one here, and one here. We take this one first because there's a little 10mm nut that needs to come off. Like that. And then behind it there's this. Can you just pull the keys out of the ignition, please?
Yeah.
I don't fancy a airbag in the face. So that's how that works. You take the 10mm nut off, that's a ground for whatever, and I do believe that's for the SRS airbag behind there. But then, exactly where you just were, there is a 10mm bolt to take off. And once I got that off, you'll see in a second what that does. Yeah, but undo it, don't do it up. There you go. It's because it's upside down. Okay, anyway, so the point I was making was this is one of them bolts. So you put the bolt in and then the ground goes on the bottom and then you just pinch the ground with a nut. So essentially two to take off there. Then when you've done that, there's just one more here. And you can just feel it. I know you can't really see where it is, but you just put your fingers up there and you can feel round 10mm nut. You take that one. Okay, it's a bolt, not a nut. And then the light here. You see the cable for the dash light, and there's some sheathing and like a clip. You've got to pull the clip that's just up in here. You've got to pull the clip and pull this out of the way to expose those two 10mm. So they're concealed behind that sheathing. So just so you know where to look. Otherwise, like, you might not find it. It's all done by braille because you can't see any of this. So you just got to feel your way with your hands. And then really, once this is out, which is strangely difficult. Okay, once that is out, really, that's it. You're on your way. You're on your way. You're ready to. And what you should see is this whole dash, the top of the dash, will just come away. Unless I've forgotten something. I don't think I have. I don't think I have forgotten anything. This side will come loose, yeah, that goes. I think this is pretty much it. They do take a bit of wrestling. I feel like I'm missing something. I shouldn't be. I should not be. No, I don't think so. Alright, let's just pause this for a second while we investigate this. I'm back? Okay. Yeah, I found it. Right there, underneath the first S for SRS airbag. There's another concealed one. That was a really rookie mistake. I shouldn't have done that. I should have known that was there. And it is a torque, even though it seems to think it's not. There we go. So there's another one just there. So you just rip that out of there. Now it should be loose. Yes, it is. Right, you can see that's loose. One more thing, the coupler for the SRS airbag is easier to do if you do it now under there than take it out and do it. So I don't know if you can see anything just under here.
No, it's
where
dark.
my hand is. Let me see if I can take that for a second. I might be able to show you.
Hard to see.
Ah, there it is. So there's that green coupler is the SRS airbag coupler, and you just pull it out. Okay, you can have that back. Okay, now the next job is this dash will just come off. So here we go. A little bit tricky. There we go. It's ready to come out. Now, the worst part of this coupler for this speaker is a nightmare. It is incredible the angle it's at. And it's up the back of there. Getting it out is not as bad as clipping it back in, but getting it out is still pretty bad. It's actually above and behind this heater vent, and furthermore it's at an angle and it's pressed up against it, so any effort to put your fingers on it is met with. Right, okay. So now we just pull this out and keep it out of the way somewhere. Any way you can. Okay. So now if you want to get a good shot of that, it just shows that's the top part of the dash off. Okay, just as a side note, whilst Karen is showing you, down there, that is the heater blower, and the matrix is also in that area. So if you need to do any heater jobs on your V70, C70 first generation, you'll have to do a similar thing. Perhaps not take the whole dash off, but certainly just rip the glove box insert out to expose the controls, and then you just work in here with your hands in here. Anyway, back to what we were doing. Now we're going to take this binnacle out, nice and easy, 2 clips. Actually, that even easier than I thought. It's come off in my hand. And that one. Okay, I'll take that. 2 clips, put them somewhere safe. Couplers. 1, 2. I hate couplers. I do hate couplers, and I might need some help for this one. I'm going to tease it out without ripping the wires out the back of it. There we go, 3. And then there's 1. You have to lift it just slightly to get to the back of it. There's a blue one in the back with this little box on the top, and you just pull that. Okay, now the coupler, the binnacle is out. There you go, nice and simple. And then you've just got to take this box off the top. It's ABS, and there's 2 tiny little torques in there, which we're going to have to pause the video and go and get the torque for, because I don't think it's that little kit I've got. Yeah, so I lied to you before about only needing them 3 tools. You do need a 10mm, but it's going to have to be a deep reach, so that little kit I had won't do it. And you see they're just down in there. And kind of a pain to get to. I just leave them in there. Do the other one. And then pull it out with them in and put it somewhere safe. Like that. So anyway, there's the one that we don't want. I'm going to reach back here and grab the one we do want. So we've got both binnacles. Just before I swap them over, it's a good idea to check to make sure the one you want to put in has all the bulbs in it. These are the little bulbs, just little screws, and we can see there are a few missing. So I'm going to take them out of the old one, or the one we're sacrificing, whichever way you want to put it. Yeah. And then I'm going to just replace the ones that are missing. Keep them in the same positions, that's fine. And then looks like everything's present. It's good on here. It tells you which type they're supposed to be as well. So that says it's black, so that's supposed to be black, that's supposed to be black, they're supposed to be black. These ones tell you they're all supposed to be blue. I mean, the size gives it away, they're bigger, but still, I appreciate that. I think that's cool. They put a lot of effort into it. So you can see, if you look at the back of this binnacle, this is actually from my T5R, but it says that's 97 there, June 97, and this one is 04, so this was a February 04, and they're not compatible. Anyway, enough chit chat, time to put this back together and get on with this. So just get that one, try and get that one started. Let me just pinch them up, they don't have to be tight at all. Okay, that's ready to go back in.